Hello, my name is Chaudhary Crystal Kodikar and welcome to my video interview. Thank you for taking the time to get to know me. During this interview, I'd like to formally introduce myself and my experience and some of the projects that I've worked on. I'm a web and graphics designer studying at the University of Waterloo in Global Business and Digital Arts with a focus in UX and UI design. The skills and experiences I possess in graphic design, web design, UI prototyping, wireframing, image editing, and media production would be an asset to your company and allow me to progress as a creative. Though my expertise lies in software such as Adobe Creative Suite, Figma, Sketch, G Suite, and Office 365, I'm always open to learning new software and improving my skill set as a designer. And I think this characteristic has stayed with me throughout other aspects of my life, where I'm just always looking for ways to improve myself and progress myself. I'm always searching for new opportunities, which is how I found this position. My design process is very strict and meticulous. I start off with having a discussion with the client on what vision they have in mind. We go through a lot of concept images and reference photos that I've gathered for them. And we decide on a couple we like, I start getting started on the thumbnail. I'll do a couple thumbnails just until we have an idea or a sketch in mind, and then I'll get started on the drafts. This process differs between each medium I do, whether it's website design, mobile app design, or even a poster, but usually I'll always try to get a couple sketches, so just a couple drawings done, just because of my traditional arts background. So when the final draft is done, I will give it to the client and hopefully we're on the same page and we have something of the utmost quality. I'm quite comfortable in working in team environments from my experience as a children's art teacher. I've always had to collaborate with my peers and other instructors in order to create new programs and new camps for the new season. I also have experience working in multiple design teams from my experience at Creators Collective, CrossFit Charity, Entrepreneurship Society, as well as individual design projects I've done with my friends. Okay, so we're going to start by going over some of my projects and designs that I've done in my portfolio, and I'll just explain some of the case studies as well. So here is my portfolio here. I did it through Wix, and I have quite a bit of experience with Wix over the last couple of years, but I'm also comfortable with other websites such as GoDaddy and WordPress. Let's see. We're going to start with Project Loop application. There we go. Give a little load. There we go. So the Project Loop application is one of the more recent projects that I've done, and it was essentially a response to a design competition that ran over 24 hours with the University of Waterloo. So TILE was a design competition hosted by the University of Waterloo, and we were given 24 hours to design a prototype and application to present to a panel of judges. The competition was run by the local User Experience Design Club, and it was a wonderful experience, and it was the first time I'd done actually a 24-hour competition, so this was quite interesting. Let's get to this. So the Loop is an app dedicated to providing information about social and activism issues in digestible, easy-to-read pages. So we were committed to providing information that students and youth were able to take in with ease. Our problem statement was chosen from a list of prompts in the competition: education on diversity and inclusion. How might we educate people on activism? How do we bring it into everyday life in digestible chunks? I did this project with other designers that I also knew personally. So about the project constraints and scope. So we were given, again, 24 hours, which was a huge hurdle to climb, and we had to do it all in Figma. Figma is luckily an application I'm quite familiar with, so that wasn't that much of an issue. All the collaboration must be done remotely. That posed to be an issue later on, as there was a difference in, I suppose, interaction. A video presentation describing the prototype must also be submitted. Again, here are the submission deliverables. We also had a project description we had to submit as well. Now, the process of creating this application. Let's see. We started off with, of course, brainstorming. Although we were given prompts by the competition, we were also encouraged to think of our own ideas. Our group bounced back and forth. We wanted to choose a topic that is personal to us. We wanted to make this application a passion project, and we did. Essentially, we were inspired by the current modern online social justice and activism movements, the act of sharing infographics and cards to quickly read about issues. However, we had some issues with those issues, essentially. The problem with current methods of sharing information is that it spans over different platforms, and through Loop, information is centralized all in one place. This refers to the fact that when you're looking for information about a topic or social issue, you come across a card or infographic, but you're not able to find other ones like it. You'd have to search the internet, you have to search constantly. Sometimes you have to do research on your own. Loop is dedicated to being a database of quick, easy information. From the prompt, we created our own question. Is there a way to access, learn, and search for social justice and world issues easily? The idea of Loop was again to be a database. So, can people create their own infographics? How to reach these pages? So that was our brainstorm. We kept asking each other questions and questions and questions, trying to come up with features and features and features. After our brainstorm was done, we got to work on, of course, the visual design. As designers, it's the most important. It was actually the hardest hurdle to overcome. I've never rather, came up with a design or suppose a branding with such like in 2 hours, such short period of time. But we did quite well, I suppose. We chose a nice, simple sans serif font, as well as these calming blue and green tones that really added to our cause of our application. We also have, again, some preliminary designs that I did for the loading screen. I actually wouldn't mind doing the second one over here. I'll consider it for another application. After the visual branding was chosen, we went on to wireframing. Wireframing was a quick process. A lot of the sign-up screens and other screens we were quite familiar with from designing apps in our free time. So we actually modeled some of our screens after the Wix website creator, especially the one where you have to create an infographic. Then we have our prototypes that can be accessed through this Figma file here. And the final product, I know I've been speeding through this, but the final product was Loop. And it was created to bridge the learning gap. See, Loop also we added some features as well. So Loop also allows users to view and attend verified events, volunteer events nearby, encouraging them to become active members of the local community. Essentially, we were faced with the problem, or we added this problem, where when we wanted to volunteer and contribute to our community, there wasn't a lot of places where we can find all these opportunities at once. We decided to add that feature to Loop to further the social activism. We also have a phrase where it's like going on the Loop app, reading a card, or reading an infographic. It's called being in the loop. Yes, yeah. So here are some of the screens that I've designed and also helped design. There we go. And results and impact. There are a few changes I'd like to make to this success. It was done over a short time frame. If I had more time, I'd make a lot of changes, especially to visual branding. I feel that we should have put more emphasis on playing that out thoroughly. We should have been a little more experimental and a little more creative with what kind of other logos and icons we can bring to the application. So our takeaways from this was that one press for time, schedule every part of your day with your team, always establish a visual branding, and make sure that it takes time. Projects become better from multiple design perspectives. I was lucky to work with a talented group of designers, and that obviously helped me. Thank you for tuning in to my video interview, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely day.